So let's take a look at the two birds. And my intention is to paint two birds that are very common in the Netherlands. You see them all year round, and they are the grey tit and the blue tit. Now I have a couple of pictures of them. This is my, I call it my nature Bible. I take it everywhere. Well, I used to. And these are the birds. This is the great tit. It has a greenish back with a yellow belly and a black stripe over the belly and a black head with a white cheek. And this is the blue tit. It's slightly smaller with a blue cap, a little bit of green. It's a beautiful bird. Now, to make things a little bit more clear, I thought let's take this other book. So here we have the blue tit, and here we have the great tit. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a touch of blue to that blue tit, and I'm going to pick a brush. This time I'm going to pick my Pentel Waterbrush. Doesn't really matter which water brush you use. The positive thing about these Pentel brushes is that they keep a very, very fine tip. That's very good. I do like the Arteza brushes as well because they give much more water when you squeeze them. And that works perfectly for the if you have to do large areas. But these are a little bit more precise, and that tip is so fine and it stays that way. Because this is quite an old one. I've been using this for a long time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a touch of water here. And then I'm going to pick up cerulean blue. It's the same color that I've used in the background. Trying to keep my palette as small as possible. And I'm also going to put that color over here and a little bit on the back of that blue tit. Now, as you take a look at this picture, I've been looking at pictures on the internet as well, because then I can zoom in much better. But this area here is a very dark blue, so I will have to mix a little bit, mix colors to get this darker. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of green to the back over here. Oh, and here the wings have blue and the tail has blue, so I can add that too. Let's do that first. A little bit of that cerulean blue to the wings and the tail. Just the first touch. Now the green that I used in this painting is olive green. And that is this one, and I think it could be the perfect one for the back of this bird. And I'm going to use it for the great tit as well, picking up a little bit of that paint. I'm going slow, layer by layer, just slowly building this. I love that. Now I'm going to add that over here as well. And as I am looking at the pictures in the book, I think there's a mistake here. Because this grey tit, it has a black line here, but I think I made it too big. Or not. No, I think it's correct. But there is a, over here, it's slightly, it's much smaller over here. So I think I will make an adjustment. The only problem is that this is an ink line. So you will see it. Well, let's, I don't know, maybe I'll fix it. Maybe not. There's a touch of blue in the wings of the grey tit as well, so I'm picking up a little bit of that cerulean blue. And let's continue. Now I think I'm going to add a touch of yellow. And that's going to be the same color that I used for mixing this light green. But this I'm going to do with a wet in wet technique. So I'm going to add a touch of water first. And then I will pick up the Winsor yellow. It's a bit stained. It's quite a strong yellow. I don't think I want that much. Just the first layer. And let's do the same for this blue tit, because there is yellow in the belly as well. Just a touch of it. Because this yellow is very bright. I will have to tone this down. Now I will have to go and search for a slightly more powerful blue, a darker one, to create a darker blue here. And here I have the blues that are in the Winsor Newton set. We have 4: cerulean blue, a Winsor blue, French ultramarine, and an indenturing blue. And the 5th one, indigo. But I think the indigo, I have a feeling that the indigo is way too dark. I think the indenturing blue might be the right one. Let's give that one a try. It is a very dark blue. It's this one. Let's try it on the palette first to see. Oh, I think this is perfect. This might be just perfect. Let's give it a try. Just a touch of it. Again, I'm going very slow. I don't want to hasten things. I changed the position of the camera so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. I'm just slowly building, and this is so much joy. This is, I cannot explain how much joy this gives me. It's the feeling of the paint, how it reacts on the paper. It's also the interaction between the paint and the paper. So far this Arteza watercolor paper is doing great. It's just wonderful. Picking up a little bit more of that indenturing blue. Just a touch of it. Cleaning the brush. In one of my other videos I talk about a choir from the UK that it's a professional choir, and their name is Tenebrae Choir, and they have a slogan. Their slogan is passion and precision. Now, I'm a singer myself. I love choral song. I love to sing in choirs. But the slogan passion and precision does not apply to me when it comes to music. It does apply to me 100% when it comes to this painting. I'm going to add a layer of this indenturing blue here because I think that will intensify the darkness. This painting with this paint, with this paper, with this brush, to me is absolutely passion and precision, and it gives me so much joy. I really hope that you experience that same amount of joy. It's so wonderful. There are very diverse styles of doing art, painting, drawing, coloring. Maybe this very precise way of painting is not your style. I'm sure you will know in a minute whether it's your style or not, because this gives so much joy. If it doesn't give you that much joy, try a different style. Maybe a little bit more loose, on a bigger scale, picking up that indenturing blue again. You can do whatever you want. In the world of art, anything is possible. One thing though that I've learned, and that is exactly the same with music, but I think music is a way of art as well. Technique, knowing what you're doing, understanding the technique of what you're doing will help you to gain more and more freedom to make your art work. So investing in learning techniques, I think, is very worthwhile. I'll go back to that olive green, picking that up right now, just a teeny tiny touch of it. And I leave a little bit of white here because there's a little bit of white in the wings. I'll show you. Look, there's a little bit of white. I'll try to save that in the painting. I don't know how to paint all the feathers. I know artists who do that and do that just brilliantly. I have no idea how to do that, so I think I'll keep it simple. Let's go to the other bird. Let's see. This bird has a lot of black. There's black over here, there's black over here, black eye, black beak, here on the breast. But let's start with those wings. I will increase the green tone first. Yeah, I must say the way that this Winsor & Newton paint behaves, it is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. Let's see. I think I need to make a mixture to create the black areas. I find that a little bit scary, but let's do it. And I'm going for that indenturing blue that I just discovered, putting that here. And let's add burnt sienna. I already used that, so let's pick up burnt sienna. I might need a more darker combination. Oh, this is way too green. Do you see that? This turns out very green. Okay, I learned something. This is not it. This is not what I'm looking for. And this is proof that I am not very much experienced when it comes to mixing my own colors. I'm lazy. I like to pick the colors right from the palette and not mixing on my own. I'm going for Payne's Gray. That's the mixture that I used for these shadows. Payne's Gray with burnt sienna. Picking that up now. Look. This is more brownish. It's not dark enough, but that's okay. I'm just slowly building a little bit more of the Payne's Gray. I will leave the eye because that is going to be a challenge, the eye, because I want to have a highlight in the eye. There are several ways of doing that. The easiest one might be using masking fluid, but I don't like masking fluid. I always end up having trouble with it. So I might try first to do it without, but the thing is, once the paint is there, the true white of the paper is gone. And when you want to have a bright highlight, that white paper is quite important. Cleaning the brush. Well, so far so good. I'm going to use this mixture for the beak of the other bird. I need to be very precise. Well, we're getting somewhere. I'm going to do one more thing because I want to know how the berries of the holly will interact with the rest of the painting. So I'm going to add a touch of red. Now I have 3 colors of red. A cooler tone, permanent rose, a darker one, permanent alizarin, and a Winsor red, very bright. I hear more and more stories about permanent alizarin crimson, that it isn't very light fast, and maybe that is true, but I'm not very interested in that right now. I'm not going to hang this on the wall, so I think I will go for the Winsor red first. Very, very light layer. I'm going to add water first, and I want to save a highlight. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is just add a first touch of red, just to see how things are working out. You can hardly see it on camera, I think. Let's come a little bit closer. Oh dear. I always have a tissue in hand, because sometimes I'm spilling a little bit. By the way, I like to be precise, but you don't have to be. It's completely fine if you have a more loose technique. Let's add a little bit more of that red paint so it's easier to see what it's doing. I keep cleaning my brush on the tissue. Okay. I think I will have to put this red tone somewhere else in the painting to make things connect, but that's going to work out. Okay, this looks good. So, it is the next day. Today it is Sunday afternoon. And let's see, what is the next step? I think the next step is to add a touch of green to the holly leaves. And let's take a look at the green tones that I have. None of them, I think, are exactly what I'm looking for. But although picking colors from real life leaves are much better than picking colors from a book, I'm going to take a look at the book here, my nature Bible, and I'm going to look for holly. I hope it is in here. Let's see. The Dutch word for holly is hulst. Here it is. There are two types in the book. Let's see. Oh. It's this one. And I think this color, the color in the photo is quite good, and as you can see it does not resemble any of these green tones, so I am forced to do some mixing, that's for sure. Yeah. And I'm going to mix with green tones that with colors that I already have in the palette that I'm using here. I'm picking up indenturing blue, touch of it, and then a touch of that beautiful olive green. And let's take a look. I'm not exactly looking for the perfect resemblance, but I wanted to look a little bit like that dark green on the picture, but I also wanted to connect with the rest of the colors here. So, okay, I have the green on my brush, but I want to do a wet in wet technique. So I will put water on the paper first. This is a clean brush, and it looks like I've never used this one before. This is a Arteza brush, the finest of the ones you can get. This is a small brush. The tip of this brush is so white that is a sign that I've never used it before, because these water brushes, the brushes start to stain. There's a little bit of a drop of water here. Let's get rid of it. So here we go. Let's see what happens. And as you can see, I made just a teeny tiny bit of this mixture of paint, and you can go a very long way with it. This is just the first layer to see how the color interact with the rest of the painting. I think this is good. But I also feel that this green tone, just like the red, needs to be integrated in other areas of this painting. I think that will really help to make this painting look like a unity. So yes, okay, this looks good. I think I will try to just give it a try here. This is going to be dark anyway over here, so let's see what this green tone is doing when I put it on the tree trunk. Just a tiny bit. Yeah, I think this is working. Let's make a little bit more of this mixture. So it is indenturing blue with olive green. I think the very professional watercolorists may not be amused with this mixture, because there are so many colors in, so many pigments in this mixture. There is a watercolor theory that says that the less colors you use in a mixture, the brighter the color stays, and I'm sure that is true. But I'm just not there yet. I'm just a little bit lazy. I want to use convenient pre-mixed colors like that olive yellow. You can, olive green, I'm sorry. You can make your own olive green, of course, with a mixture of yellow and blue, and I think a touch of red or an earth tone. And the good painters, they know all that mixtures by heart, I think. Well, I don't. I'm just exploring watercolor paint. I love doing that. And the more I paint, the more I experiment, I think the more I will eventually learn and remember all those beautiful mixtures. Okay, let's take a look here on the top of the painting. So I'm picking up the paint and I'm trying to save the twigs, the light areas in the twigs. So now let's get back to that red tone. It's Winsor red, and I feel that I need to add a touch of that red in other areas of this painting. So I'm going to add a bit of water here and there and then just drop in a touch of that red, just to create a sense of unity. Here we go, picking up red. Here I have the red, just a touch of it. Ooh, that is a lot. So I'm cleaning the brush and I will tone things down. I think this is working. Let's change the position a little bit. The position of the camera. Now in winter time here in the Netherlands we have these beautiful colors in the sky. Nature is gray and dark brown and colorless, but the skies have these beautiful warm tones, so this might actually work just perfectly. Just a sense of warm light reflecting on a tree trunk. That sounds very good. Here there will be a shadow, but first I will add the same Winsor red. Putting on water first, so you cannot actually see very well that I am adding water to the paper, but I am picking up that red tone. It's very strong, so I have to dilute that very much. So, sometimes I take a look at the screen of the camera, my phone. I record everything with my phone, and this small screen allows me to immediately take a fresh look, have a fresh look on the painting because everything is smaller, and I can see that this is too red. So I might even do this. I don't want all the red to disappear. This is a little bit too much. And this is perfect. I think this is much better. I will do the same here, but I will pick a different brush. These Arteza brushes, you can squeeze out the water much more easily than the Pentel brushes. So if you want to add clean water to the paper, these Arteza brushes are excellent. Picking up a teeny tiny touch of that red again. It's so powerful. Yeah. Picking up a teeny tiny touch here. As you can see, it's just one stroke, one brush stroke, just a teeny tiny touch. Now the question is, should I add a little bit of red to the sky as well? I'm not sure about that yet, so I won't do that right now. I will, however, add a touch of that red to the birdhouse. And just a little bit more. Well, not bad. So far, I feel I'm going into the right direction, so this is good. Today it is December the 21st, and maybe you can see, I hope you cannot see, but you might see that there's a difference in the light of this recording, because today is 21st of December, the shortest day of the year, midwinter, and we are having a very cloudy day with rain, and it's extremely dark. So I first decided to not continue the recording because of the bad light conditions, but if I don't record today, I will get in trouble and will not be able to launch this Christmassy, wintry project before Christmas. So I need to continue. And I'm going to take a look at the head of this blue tit, because I'm going to add a touch of detail already. This dark line that is around the eyes. So as you can see, there is a dark line, horizontal line. It's very dark bluish black. So I'm going to add a touch of that color in here. So I'm going to pick a small brush. Which one? Where is my small brush? Here. I have my Pentel brush with a fine tip. It's very fine. Let's make sure it's clean. And I'm going to pick up that beautiful indenturing blue. It's over here. Let's see. I'm just going to put that in. Now when I look at the, can you see that here? It's a horizontal line that goes from the beak to the back of the head. I'm just going to slowly build this line, and I think indenturing alone is not dark enough. There is one art material that I do not have here, and I see now, I feel that I need it. It's my reading glasses. You know, this year I turned 46 years old, and sometimes there are periods that I really need to use my reading glasses, and others lately I haven't used them that much, but with this detailed work and the lack of bright light, I'm really getting old. I'm sure so. Many of you may recognize this. I'm going to add a touch of Payne's Grey to this indenturing blue. My Payne's Grey is over here. And let's put that. Oh, I need a little bit more. And the reason why I use the Payne's Grey is because it's already in the painting. Now the paper is still a little bit wet from the first layer that I put there. I will wait with the eye until I have my reading glasses on, because I want to create a highlight, and that is going to be very precise work. Look at that. I think I need to make this white spot on the back of the head a little bit smaller. And there's a dark line over here as well. Ah, that works just beautifully. I just let that paint flow. It's just wonderful. I'm also going to use a touch of this mixture over here. Yes, so today it is midwinter. And normally in other years around this time I'm very busy with Christmas concerts and performances, but this year everything is different. There are no performances, not for me at least. It's all due to the coronavirus situation. My brother, who is a professional classical singer also, he has a performance on Christmas Eve. No public allowed, but it will be recorded live. It's live. You can see it via the internet. So I think I'm going to do that. Just watch this Christmas performance of my brother. But it's quite it's a very strange year for many people. I think for almost everybody it is a very, very strange year. Okay, this looks so much better already. That same mixture of Payne's Grey and indenturing blue I'm going to use here in the feathers to create a teeny tiny touch of both detail and shadow, just a couple of lines. And I'm barely touching the paper. I also read that there is we have a very special Christmas star in the night sky. Two planets are very close to each other and they almost form one bright star. I haven't seen it yet. Yesterday evening my husband and I, we tried to find it, but we were too early, I guess. It was not... those planets were not above the horizon yet, so our attempt did not work out. And with the amount of clouds we have now, I doubt whether we will see it tonight. Okay, let's see. I think I'm going to add more darkness to the shaded areas, and I try to remember which color combination I used for this area. I can't remember. I should look back on the footage, on the recordings that I made. But maybe it's not that important. I'm just going to use whatever I have here on the palette. I have this greenish mixture and a more brownish mixture. And I think I'm going to use this brownish mixture to create a little bit of a shadow here underneath the birdhouse. I'll pick another brush. Here I have a large Arteza brush. I'm going to use that one because these brushes, they give their water easily, and I think that might work here, but I also need to be a little bit precise. So, but let's see. The shadow comes, the sunshine comes from the right. I will add water first. I hope you can see what I'm doing, because just clear water is difficult to see when I put it on. And let's pick up that brown tone, just add a bit of water to it, and that is so wonderful with watercolor paint. Once it has dried on your palette, just add a touch of water to it and it reactivates and you can use it again. But it's a little bit too, it's not strong enough anymore, so I'm going to do a little bit of mixing. I'm going to mix Payne's Grey with burnt sienna. Can you see what I'm doing? I don't think so. Here I have the burnt sienna. There we go. Let's see what happens now. That works better. I'm adding more Payne's Grey. Now with these twigs here, I want to be precise. Squeezing the brush. I think I want this to be a straight line, but the paper is a little bit too wet to do that. I think I need to let this dry and then come back and make this a straight line. And here, this area underneath the birdhouse, I will make dark as well. I think even darker. I think that is the darkest area, together with this hole here. That hole is even darker, I think. I'm just putting my hand on the paper right now to be a little bit more stable. Stability. And I must say, so far this Arteza paper is working very, very nicely. I checked the price of the paper. I already forgot it. My memory is really... it has never been good, and it's never going to be good. I don't remember the exact price, but what I checked is whether this Arteza paper, how is it cheaper or more expensive than other 100% cotton paper. And then you see that it has a similar price range than other 100% cotton papers. So it's a very good paper, but it's not cheaper than other paper brands that I use. Do you see what's this? What happened here? Goodness gracious, what happened here? Did I do that with my arm, with my... oh dear, damage control. Let's see, clean the brush. Oh goodness. Well, this can happen too, and this, of course, the chance of this happening increases when you have not much experience, like me. I love painting, but that's something that I learned from my classical singing profession. You gain experience by making mistakes, and the more experience you have means you made the more mistakes. That is in my case, that is the case. I gain more experience because I make more mistakes. So we have, I think I can fix this. It's not as bad as it looked a minute ago. So let's continue getting back to the brush that I was using. So I think already you can see that this shadow is working. It's really working. I will make a little bit more of this mixture, paint grey. And burnt sienna. And let's add this here, because I think this hole here is the darkest area of the painting, together with the black of the eyes, of the bird's eyes. And I recently found out why that is. Why is the pupil of an eye that intense black? And my husband, he likes science, and he likes to watch science videos on YouTube. And he was a while ago watching videos about color, and he stumbled upon a video that was about how can you make the darkest black, the blackest black. And it turned out the blackest black occurs not by mixing a certain mixture of colors, but by putting a hole in something. Because the light goes in this case in the birdhouse, and it bounces against all the walls, but it doesn't bounce back outside. It cannot escape, and the smaller the hole in this case, the less chance the light has to escape back into the open, and that will cause a very dark hole. And the same goes for your pupil in your eye, because that is a hole. It's a tiny hole in your eyes through which the light, the outside light, travels into your eye, and then in your eye, well, all magical stuff happens so you can see things. And that is very interesting. So I realized that the inability of the light that enters a hole to come out again, that creates that extreme darkness. And that is why this hole and the eye will be much darker than, for example, this area here or here. It will be darker. Now maybe for the painting it may not be so important to make a difference between this black and this black or darkness, but I found it very interesting to see how that works, because also from dark surfaces light can reflect back to your eye or your camera, and you will experience a certain amount of light. It was a very interesting video. And I hope I explained it correctly to you, because in cases like this, with my limited English vocabulary, it is sometimes omslachtig. It takes many words sometimes for me to explain something. That is because I don't know all the English words. Anyway, that is just... I'm still learning. I try to learn more and more about the English language, but I think I need to be realistic. I will never be a native speaker. That's just not going to happen. I'm adding a touch of extra darkness here. And I'm also going to add a touch of darkness here, but I'm going to change the camera position. There we go. It's still that same mixture of burnt sienna and Payne's grey. So these Christmas times in 2020 are quite strange, and because of the coronavirus restrictions, it looked like it was going to be a quiet Christmas, but actually now that my family and my in-laws also, we are trying to arrange things, it turns out it's going to be the most busy Christmas time ever. Here in the Netherlands we are not allowed to gather together with large groups, and I have a large family and my in-laws family is too large also to come together. You can only come together with max 3 people from outside your own family. That is the rule today. It would not surprise me if that rule would change, but and not for the better. What's going to happen now, I think, is that one day we will see this family member and the next day we will see that family member. Here in the Netherlands we have a tradition of first Christmas Day and second Christmas Day. I think there is going to be a third Christmas Day and a fourth Christmas Day, and eventually everybody will see everybody. Or many people will see each other. So yeah. I don't know if that is wise, but I think that's going to happen. Oh, you cannot see what I'm doing. That is not good. Add a teeny tiny bit more and then I will leave it for a while. I will go ironing. That has to happen also. And my ironing board is here in the Passion for Pencils headquarters. Passion for Pencils is not so fancy that it has its own place in the home. We have to multitask in this room, so I'm going to do some ironing and make my husband very happy. Yes, he likes to have stuff clean and tidy before Christmas. So beside this project, that is the other project, getting the house clean and tidy, getting a happy husband, and that's always a good thing. So, well, I I will leave this for a while and then I will continue.